to be doing finance today, and we're going to be going through simple interest and compound interest. So just a reminder that when we are using simple interest, if we ever get a hire purchase question, we are automatically going to use simple interest for hire purchase. If we get anything like inflation, population increase, anything of that sort, interest calculations, they are all done on compound interest. Okay, those are the types of things they don't tell you in an exam. So when we're looking at the exam paper, they don't really tell us that simple interest is calculated over, hire purchase is calculated over simple interest. That's something you need to know already. Okay, if they talk about inflation, they're not going to tell you to calculate over compound interest. If they talk about population growth, they're not going to ask you to use compound interest. You must already know that. Okay, all right, so without further ado, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready, because I know most of you are like really good at finance, and this is going to go by pretty quickly. Sorry, my phone is acting, everybody's just, yeah. All right, excellent. Okay, here is your first challenge, these two questions over here. Okay, we'll name this one A. We'll name this one A. Questions 1 and 2, you've got 4 minutes, go for it. I've never heard that saying before, and cash in crab claws. I've never heard that before. You need to explain what that means. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I have no idea. Hello, Abigail. Oh, okay. Because I was like, huh? Hi, Gundo. All right, 2 more minutes, guys. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I get you now. I get you. Paper 1 on Friday. Sure, specifically. But I'm sure you'll be super ready, especially if you're joining us now. You're going to be super ready for paper 1. One more minute, guys. Remember to pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're done. Completely forgot that part. What is that? Hello, Dumiso. I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm actually much better because we're about to get straight into these answers that we get over here. All right, it's a trap. Okay, let's get started on these questions. This question here says 5,000 Rand is invested in a bank, calculated the accumulated amount. So they tell you to look for the accumulated amount. We know that's A in our formula A. After 3 years, so that's our N is 3. Okay, and the total interest received. So there are actually 2 calculations that we're doing here. The interest received, if the rate or the interest rate is 3.75% per annum, simple interest. So this is our first I. This is our p-value. So we know we're calculating for A. So we're going to go A is equal to 5,000, open brackets, 1 plus. Now, depending on how you write this, you can either write 0.0375, or you can write 3.75 over 100, or you can actually write 3.75% multiplied by the number of years, which is 3. Pop your answers in the chat for me, please, folks. What do we get for this first answer over here? Mfundo says 5,562.5. Correct. Okay. 5,562 Rand. And we need to put a 0 there because this is cents. Okay. Except by the functions. Oh, shame. I'm sorry. That's okay. All right. Okay, so this is our accumulated amount. Now, in order for us to calculate for the interest received, remember, guys, interest is going to be your accumulated amount minus your principal amount. And teacher Nelly, no to that question. The answer is no. Okay, so we're going to take our 5,562.50 minus 5,000 Rand. That is our interest. And that should give us 562 Rand and 50 cents. So the interest that they've made is 562 Rand and 50 cents. Thank you. Thank you, Kamakalo Princess. What happened with the function section? I'm very curious now. All right, let's talk about compound interest. Right, remember we're going to be doing the exact same calculation. The only difference is that our number of years is going to be to the power of 3. So we'd have A is equal to 5,000, open brackets, 1 plus, and this one I'll write 3.75 over 100. It won't make a difference, to the power of 3. And how much did we get for this answer here, guys? Thank you, Kamogelo and Mfundo, 5,583.86 cents. Right. They also want us to find the interest here. So we know that the interest is going to equal to our accumulated minus our principal. So we can take 5,583.86 minus 5,000 Rand. That's going to give us 583 Rand and 86 cents. Sure, my goodness. Okay. It sounds like there was a war that happened there by Princess's paper. I'm so sorry. No worries, Remy. Hi, DeAndre. It's so great to have you guys with us. All right. Give me a thumbs up if we're understanding how to do these questions. They're quite simple. We're just calculating for A. Excuse me. Okay, excellent. No problems, Waruna. Welcome. Oh, Princess left it open. We never ever do that. We never ever leave any section. Even if you draw pictures, you must write something so they can give you some sort of mark. We don't just leave things not written. Okay, good, Princess. All right, so this one says here, 5 years ago, a certain amount of money was invested in a bank. Now, we don't know what that certain amount of money was that they invested 5 years ago. The value of the investment is currently 200,000 rand. So what does this 200,000 actually stand for here? What is that value? Our what value? It's not going to be accumulated. This is how much we have currently, right? And this money was put in 5 years ago. So this is going to be our, okay, it's our A value. For those of you who said A, correct. Okay, so we're not calculating for A, we're calculating for P. I'm sorry. Yes, for those of you who said A, you were correct. I'm sorry. I didn't quite understand your statement there. Yes, this is our accumulated amount. Calculate the original amount invested if the interest rate was 5% per annum, simple interest. So what are we actually looking for here? We're looking for the principal. We're looking for P. We have our N. Our N is 5 years. We have our interest rate. It's 5% per annum, simple interest. So now if we have our formula, A is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus I times N. To make P the subject of the formula, what do we have to do? What do we have to do here? Correct, Siamtanda. We're going to divide. Excellent. We're going to divide this whole side by 1 plus I times N. And if we do that on that side, we must also do it on the side, 1 plus I times N. So those two will cancel. So P, exactly, correct, Ndumiso. So P is going to equal to your accumulated over 1 plus I times N. Okay, that's going to be the same for your compound interest because you're going to get A is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus I to the power of N. If we want P on its own, we're going to divide on the side also by 1 plus I all to the power of N, this side as well, 1 plus I to the power of N. That means that for my compound interest, P is also equal to A over everything that was underneath, everything that was in that bracket over there. All right, I'm going to give you again 4 minutes. Remember to pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're done. Okay, in this case, we're only looking for the P value. We're not looking for the interest either. We're just looking for the principal amount. Okay, 4 minutes. No worries, Carmen. Welcome. Specifically, I'm sure it's pretty much the same. It's just the wording, especially in financial maths, because you need to be able to read to understand what they want from you. But I'm sure it's all the same. It's just sometimes the English is not Englishing, guys. It happens. It happens. Sometimes the English doesn't English. Sure, guys, that was quick. Hello, Anutida. We're quite late today, I see. This is what happens, teacher knows. When some of these kids they finish writing their exams, jiggy, they don't remember that we exist. Yeah. Oh, I see. Zane, why not? Yeah. Okay. Remy, favorite emoji. Favorite emoji. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little okay, but let me not fight with other people's teachers. Let me just mind my own business. But still, I don't see why that could be a thing. But okay, anyway, all right, let's look at some of these answers here, guys, because many of you have put your answer, your emojis in the chat. Okay, so P is equal to, I'm going to take 200,000 over here over 1 plus. This time I'm going to use 5% multiplied by 5. And the answer I get out is 160,000. So Entle, 100%. Remy, also 100% correct. Well done. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on this side, but instead of times, oh, sorry, yes, rand. Sorry, before Buffet kills me. Rand. Okay, on this side, I'm going to just use P is equal to 200,000 over, and then I'm definitely going to use brackets because 1 plus 5% needs to be to the power of 5 in this particular question. And this one gives me a weirder number, 156,705 and 23 cents. Sorry, let me not forget the rand before. Okay. All right. No worries, Unati. Well done, guys. Faith, why does my answer not look, why does your answer look different to ours? Okay, have a look again and make sure we haven't like these questions. I know which book you got them from then. All right. Okay. Now it says, how long would it take for an investment of 40,000 Rand to increase by 5,000 if the interest rate is 4.5% per annum simple interest? Now, there's a bit of work to be done here. Okay. Now, when they say how long, what exactly is it that we're looking for? Which part of our formula are we looking for here? Correct. We're looking for time or the number of years. So we're looking for N. Correct. We're looking for N. But I'm guessing many of you are like, this is my A value and this is my P value. Yes? Yes? That's not the case. Unfortunately not. Let's read this statement again. Okay, let's read this statement again. It says, how long would it take for an investment of 40,000 Rand? So how much did we actually invest? We invested 40,000. So this is our what value? What value is this? Good, correct. It's our P value. Exactly. It's our P value. Now they say that an investment of 40,000 Rand increased by 5,000. So this 5,000 is actually the interest that you've made. So what is my A value actually going to be? Correct, Boucher, 100%. Good. My A value is going to be my 40,000 plus the 5,000 interest that I've made. So my A value is going to be 45,000 Rand. Okay, if the interest rate is 4.5% per annum, simple interest. Now, we've got all the components we need, but we need to then reconfigure our equation to make sure that N is the subject of the formula. So we can say A is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus I multiplied by N. Now, I want N as the subject of my formula. What is the first thing I'm going to do in order to be able to solve for this? I want N on its own. What do we get rid of first? Good. We're going to divide both sides by P. Good. We're going to divide by P, divide by P. Those two will cancel. So now I've got A over P is equal to 1 plus I times N. Next move. What's next? Correct, Karabo. Excellent. We're going to take the 1 to the other side, and it's going to become minus 1. Right, so we're going to have A over P minus 1 is equal to I times N. I want N on its own. What's my next move? Divide, good. Buhle, be a little bit more specific. Divide by, good. Karabo, divide by I. Oh, Karabo, you're on fire today. Karabo's just got all the answers that we need. Divide by I, divide by I. Now, I want you guys to look at this very carefully. I want you guys to note here that the whole of A over P minus 1 is being divided by the interest rate. The whole thing. Okay, so here's what normally happens if you're going to click this into your calculator. You're going to do this. You're going to go A, and then you're going to click this button to make it into a fraction. And then you're going to click the fraction button again to put in I. But what's going to happen is when you put in your minus 1, your calculator is going to put your minus 1 in here. It's going to put your minus 1 over there. And what's going to happen is you're going to click equals and your calculator is going to give you a math error. It's going to give you a math error because that's not the correct way. Okay, so what you need to do is you're going to click this button, this one, and then you're going to click it again to make sure that your fraction looks like this. Okay, then you're going to use your arrows to move your cursor to over here. You're going to move your cursor, make sure that it's blinking when it's over there. And then you put in minus 1 so that your calculator then extends this denominator over there. It extends the line. Otherwise, it's not going to do that. Okay. And Ndumiso, for that exact reason, your answer is incorrect. Okay, so we need to make sure that what we're doing on our calculator matches exactly what ma'am has just said. Okay, so click the fraction button twice. Okay, then you can put your numbers in. Yes, you must, to the nearest nearest year. Ooh, English is not my best friend. Okay, and then we're going to go minus 1 and then go all the way to the bottom and we're going to put in our interest rate. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. I will show you what it needs to look like. We should have N is equal to 45,000 over 40,000 minus 1 all over, what's our interest rate? 4.5%. Or you can even, yeah, I would rather you do that. Or you can use 0.045. You can choose. All right, put that in, okay? And just like Remy got 2.78, but we're going to round it off to the nearest year. So if we round it up, we're going to get to 3 years. Right. All right. Give me a thumbs up if we're okay with how to solve for this question here. Are we all okay? Excellent. Okay. Entle, where have we missed you? I see that thumbs down. I don't want us to get to just give a thumbs down. Karabo, what's up?
Hi, ma'am. I just wanted to ask, for 2.78, does it depend on the question if they say, do we want the years and months, or will it actually say that we want the years?
Yes, they'll say, calculate for this to the nearest year or something like that.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
So in this case, I'm just saying take it up to the nearest year. Sometimes they want you to leave it as 2.78 years, which just means 2 years and a couple of months. Okay.
All right, thanks.
But I think it will be different in grade 12 when they say in years. I think you have to take the number after a comma and then multiply by 12. And then you have to say like 3 years in certain number.
Yeah, and this many months. Yeah, correct. But that's a matric problem, not a grade 10 problem, not yet. Dinzwala says, ma'am, is there another way to calculate this? I don't particularly think of. Yeah, so Entle, what answer did you get? Because like I said, it's very iffy depending on how you put it into your calculator. Because sometimes you put the -1 in the wrong place and then your calculator gives you a different answer to what you need to have gotten. Okay, then a big answer, yes. And that's because check your percentage and then also check that your -1 is sitting in the correct place. Okay, Make sure, guys. Make sure that we don't make a mistake. All right. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the next question. I'm going to be quiet. You guys are going to figure out this next one all by yourselves. Okay, there's your next question there. I will give you again, I'll give you a little bit longer. I'll give you 5 minutes this time. Just out of curiosity, what are we looking for in this particular question? What do they want from us here? Correct, Mfundo, Siamtanda, Isabel, Ndumiso, and Tanganipo, you guys have the right idea. Excellent. We are looking for I. So what you need to do is use that same method we've just used to make N the subject of the formula, but this time you're going to make I the subject of the formula. Yes, correct, teacher Nels. I think, yeah, maybe that's what Dinswalo meant. But as far as I know, I don't really think there's any other way to reconfigure this. And if there is, I mean, was it Zane who also said your teacher doesn't allow you to use this? If not, I would very much like to see what they use, if not this. Because I haven't been made aware of any other formula that could possibly, unless teacher Nels, have you heard anything? Any other formula that you could use?
No, because it's like a standard formula for like
Exactly,
like simple interest or compound interest.
I think the only difference I've seen is maybe American textbooks use K
different letters,
K and T, yeah,
for the unknown variables.
Yeah, I don't think that it does that. I haven't seen it. Okay. Well, we'll give you guys time to calculate. Use whichever method your teachers have taught you. I find that this one works best. I don't know. I'm just going to mute myself. Hi, Naledi. No worries. I'll have a look into that because I don't think you're the only one who's had that problem. But I'll ask what's happened. Oh, and Claire, physics isn't that bad. I enjoyed it when I was in school. But then again, I say that about every subject I did in school, so let me just be quiet. No worries, Palisa. Hi. All right, let's have a look at these questions over here. All right, so we know that we need to make I the subject of the formula now. So my equation says I is equal to A over P minus 1 all over N. Give me a thumbs up if yours looks like mine. Does your configuration look like mine? Is that the same thing that you guys got? Excellent. All right. Okay, let's plug in some of these values over here. Right, so we're going to have our interest rate is 25,000 over 18,000 minus 1 all over 2, because it says it's for 2 years. Right. And if I punch that into my calculator, I get 0,194 recurring. It's just like 4. But I know that it's an interest rate and it's calculated out of 100. So I'm going to need to take that and multiply by 100. And my answer then comes out as 19.4%. Okay. All right, give me a thumbs up if you got the same answer that I did. I'm hoping everybody got the same answer. If not, are we seeing where we may not have done the right thing? Excellent. Excellent, please. Karabo, what is the long way around? Siamtanda, how did you get 0,195? If you didn't do anything different to what we did, then we should all be getting the same answer. So I'm not 100% sure. And Dumiso, what's up?
Oh, ma'am, I just realized something, right?
Yes.
For the first, for the 45,000 and 40,000 and this
Yes.
one, when I calculated my interest, the formula that I used, that you gave me, where it's 45,000 over 40,000, divided by the interest minus 1. No, the first
minus 1 divided by,
yes,
this one.
I realized that when I put the what's this thing called, the interest rate at the bottom, it gives me a very different answer. But then when I use the interest rate after I've divided the 45 and the 40, and then I go divided by the interest, it gives me the answer that I was looking for.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right. So when you do it the way that we've done it here, right? Where we've put 45,000 over 40,000, I just want to see. Okay, so if I do 45,000 over 40,000 minus 1 at the top, minus 1 must be in the denominator, divided by 0,045. I still get 2.8, but so if we do it step by step, let's see what happens. 45,000 divided by 40,000 gives me 1,125 minus 1 gives me 0,125 divided by 0,045 gives me the exact same answer. So I'm not sure why. Okay, because even when I do it a step by step, I still get the same answer. So Ndumiso, I'm not 100% sure what you've done differently to what we've done. Okay, so maybe what we need to do, Ndumiso, is not minus the one after. Okay, so the order in which you need to do it is first divide these two. So take your 45,000 divided by 40,000 and then minus one, because BODMAS will dictate that this will come first. So maybe take whatever answer you get here, minus one from it, and then divide by the interest rate. Okay, and tell me what you get. Can you do that for me?
Okay, not a problem. 125.
Sure. Try that. Just make sure that you're doing it in the correct order. So step 1, step 2, step 3. And tell me what answer we get there. Okay, because the order of operations is very important. Yes, Lihle, correct. Even if we do it down here, we're going to get the exact same thing. Okay, I don't know how you guys got 0,195. Okay, let me see. 25,000 divided by 18,123 equals, I get 1,3888888 minus 1 equals 0,38888. Divide that by 2, and you would get 0,1944444. I don't know how we're getting 19,5, guys. So even when I do
what
it,
was the interest rate for the 45,000?
That's what you were trying to find. Oh, for the 45,000, 4.5%. Yeah, I think everybody rounded off, but you can't, guys. Remember, if I've got 0,19444, this 4 is too small a number to change that, or this 4 is too small a number to change this 4 into a 5. It won't do that. Okay, yeah, so because it's still a 4, this number, remember, this number over here needs to be 5 or above in order for it to change this number into a 5. Correct, Oratilwe. So I think that's where we're getting a bit of a discrepancy. Ndumiso, did you get the same answer that I got now?
Okay, now I got the correct answer of 27.
2,78. Okay.
Yes, the 2,7.
Oh,
so I think this method works better where you break it down instead of just doing the whole thing.
I think so. I think sometimes, especially because, you know, we don't want to get this part, the way we put it into the calculator wrong. It's best if you do it step by step. You're going to get to the correct answer. Okay, so guys, because there's a 4 there, that number will not change the 4 next to it into a 5. It won't. It will still remain 4, guys. It won't change. So the answer is indeed 19.4%. Yes, of course, Amara, you can raise your hand, okay, and have a look.
Ma'am, I wanted to know, is it compulsory if we're trying to find the interest rate to use -1 and over 2 all the time, or is it because there was a number that was given already?
What do you mean? In which part?
I noticed that when we were calculating the years and when we were calculating the interest rate, we said -1, but when we calculate the interest rate, it divided it by 2. So I'm asking, if calculating interest rate, is it compulsory that we always say maybe accumulated number over principal -1 and divided by the number of years? Like it's compulsory to find the answer by using that method.
Yes. Okay. So I don't really see any other method, and unless you've been taught a different method that I've never seen before, my sweetie. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. Is there any other way? Have you done it in a different way that gives us the same answer?
Yes, ma'am. I've done it a different way. That way we square root the number, the final answer, to find the number that's there. Yes,
okay,
it's like a long way of finding it.
No, not at all, my sweetie. The only difference is that this is for simple interest. So when it comes to compound interest, that's when the square root will come in. Okay. Because the equation for compound interest is P open brackets 1 plus I to the power of n. So in this case, because our n is 2, to get rid of that squared, then we're going to have to square root. Okay, so that's where the difference is going to come in. All right. Oh, okay. I see, Karabo, but remember, this is simple interest. The one that you guys are using is for compound interest. It's two completely different calculations. All right, so when we do it in this case, we then have to go, interest is equal to, now I'm going to divide by P. So I'm going to get A over P, and then I'm going to minus 1, right? But because this N is in the, I'm lying even, I can't, not minus 1 yet. Okay, let's take it a step at a time. Okay, because we need to first take the square root and then minus 1. So we're going to divide by P on both sides. So I'm going to end up with A over P is equal to 1 plus I all to the power of N. To get rid of that to the power of N, I'm going to take the root, the nth root on both sides, N to the power of N to the power of N. Those two will cancel. So now I have the nth root of A over P is equal to 1 plus I. I then have to take the 1, take it over to the other side. So my interest rate, I, is equal to the nth root of A over P minus 1. Okay, that's the difference. Now we can put the numbers in. So we're going to get interest rate is equal to the square root. I don't even have to write the 2 for the square root. Okay, the square root of 25,000 over 18,000 minus 1. The minus 1 is not in the square root, guys. It's away from the square root. So that's how we need to put this into our calculators. Okay, over 18,000 minus 1. And the answer I get here for our interest rate is 0,1785. Multiply that by 100, and our I is equal to 17.8 or 9%. Yes. Correct, Anotida, that's it, 17.9%. All right, so of course you're going to get 17.9%, but that's if you're using the compound interest formula. Compound interest, simple interest, two completely different formulas, guys. So make sure that we're seeing the difference between the two. Yes, you could put it in brackets to make it clear. 100%, Anotida, we can do this. Make sure that's in its own bracket to make sure that we are actually just putting the square root around that and then minusing 1 from the final answer. All right, give me a thumbs up if the steps we've just taken make sense. Is everybody okay with what we've done? All right, excellent, guys. Okay, let's look at this next question over here. Okay, now I want you guys, okay, to look for the operative word. I want you guys to read through this particular statement over here. I'm just going to call this number 5 because we've done so many questions. Read through number 5 and tell me what word tells us exactly what we are calculating for. You can find that, oh, Kamagelo, like 3 seconds, Nyana, and you're already there. 100%. Good, Buche, that's it. That's it, Tamia. We are calculating for inflation. Now, they do not tell us how to calculate inflation, but what kind of interest do we calculate inflation over, guys? Buche, I was still speaking my sentence when you answered the question. Not inflation and deflation, correct. We calculate inflation over compound interest. So I want you guys to take this formula, the formula for compound interest. I'll write it here for you guys. A is equal to P open brackets 1 plus I to the power of N. And I want you guys to calculate for the answer that we're looking for here. When you are done, pop your favorite emoji in the chat, and then we'll have a conversation. This is a nice and easy one. Okay, there isn't much for you guys to do, but I mean, teacher Nels, if I could buy a house for 72,000 rand, I would do it right now in the blink of an eye.
Maybe it's just one room. You know those back rooms.
No, no.
But it was 1985, yo.
A one room. No, they said an average home. I say an average home. I know, I was about to say Karabo, not in this.
It's like 2 bedrooms.
No, it must be a 3-bed, 2-bath house for 72,000.
For an average house,
Yes, yes. In like a very good suburb, like next door to Cyril Ramaphosa or something. Fundo's being mean. Guys, don't crush my house dreams. I know, guys, don't crush my dreams for buying a house, guys, please. I'm gonna live next door to Julius Malema one of these days. I have a very expensive house. You know what, Isaiah? I'll take that. Maybe it's haunted. That's why it's so cheap.
Maybe there was a crime scene, somebody died in the...
You know, I'll take it. I will take it. I'll just walk around my house with like scented candles. Go home! Just telling them, time to go. Follow the light over to the other side.
We go around with sage and stuff.
See, like Princess is saying, you know, Princess is saying, you know, Delulu is the Solulu, and I agree, it is. All right, guys, let's have a look at this question. Thank you, Tinsalo. I believe that my Dululu will become Trululu. Thank you. Okay. All right. In January of 1985, the average home cost about 72,000 Rand. Assuming an average inflation rate of 8.6% from 1985 to 2015, which is a period of 30 years. They're nice enough to even tell you how long that is. What did the same house cost in January of 2015? Sayan, Delulu's like saying delusional. Okay, being delusional is the solution. Okay, all right, so we're going to go 72,000, open brackets, 1 plus 8,6 over 100 to the power of 30. All right, pop answers in the chat. Dumiso always first to pop answers in the chat. I love it. Thank you. 855,000. Let me put those closer to each other. 855,514 and 26 cents. And you guys are absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right. Okay. Why is it over 100? Because percentage is calculated out of 100, Isayan. So you can either use 8,6%, or you can use 8,6 divided by 100, or you can use 0,086. Okay, you can choose any of these and they'll all give you the same answer. All right. All right, here's a bit of a challenge. I want to challenge you guys tonight. I want to see who can figure out this particular question. Okay, it says here, Scott takes a student loan to go to college after high school. If he pays $750 interest at a rate of 3%, how much must the loan have been originally? Now, this is not a simple or compound interest question. It will depend. Yes, correct, Naledi, because this is actually a ratio question. It is not a hire purchase question. It's not a timeline question. I want to see who's going to figure it out. Bonus points for the person who can figure out exactly what it is we need to do here. Okay. Fundo, don't be like that. Abigail, not quite. Amgelang, we've been doing finance. I'm so sorry, my sweetie. Okay, we could say exchange rate, but we don't know what the exchange rate is. Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. This is a ratio question. Okay, it is a rate question, rate and ratio, yes, but you've got to tell me how. It's not exchange rate. Balista's very touched about this Delulu being the Solulu question. Not quite. Thank you, Teacher Nels. Okay, let's think about it a little bit more practically. If I said to you guys that I have 3 sweets, I buy 3 sweets from the shop, and 3 sweets cost me 12 Rand, right? If 3 sweets cost me 12 Rand, how much would 20 sweets cost me? How would we go about this question? Who's got an idea? Anybody got an idea here? What would we do? Correct, Mfundo. Yes, Ndumiso, what do you say?
Oh, ma'am, I was just going to say 3 divided by 12.
Okay, good. 3 divided by 12. So we can find out how much 1 sweet costs.
Yes.
Correct? So 1 sweet costs how much? It costs 4 Rand. Because if 3 sweets cost 12 Rand, 1 sweet is going to cost us 4 Rand. So then I know that if I want to get from 1 sweet to 20 sweets, I'm just going to take 4 and multiply by 20, which is 80 Rand and not 800 Rand. That's an insane amount of money to pay for sweets under Peter. Yes, 20 sweets will cost me 80 Rand. No worries. I know it was just a typo. I know. Okay, so think of this idea that ma'am has just written on the screen and tell me how we can apply it to this question over here. All right, let's see who can find me an answer. Same idea that ma'am has just employed, use that to figure out how much you will get. Okay, how much it is that Scott has actually paid for his loan. That's okay, Amogelang, it's supposed to be, it's that one question that everybody goes around asking about at the end of an exam. It's a pretty tough one. We could, yes, you're there. Oratile, we don't know what the exchange rate is. Okay, Buche, you've got the right idea. Okay, for the sake of time, because we are going to run out of time, let's do this. We're going to say, if 3% was 750, no, look, I'm writing, sorry. If 3% is $750, what can we first find before we figure out how much his loan was completely? If 3% is 750%, what should we look for? How much, what percent? Think of the question we just did before. Correct, Karabo. We must look for 1%. How much would 1% of what he's paid be? How did we get from 3% to 1%? We divided by 3. Correct, Naomi, that's it. So we know that we need to divide this side by 3 as well. So we know that 1% of his $750 will be $250. But we want to know how much the loan was altogether. And the loan is not going to be 1%. The loan is going to be how much? It's going to be 100%. So we can go from 100%. How do we go from 1% to 100%? What do we do? Correct, Boucher, that's it. We're going to multiply both sides by 100. Good, multiply both sides by 100. So what is 250 multiplied by 100? How much did he actually take out as a loan? That's it. He took $25,000 out as a loan amount. All right. I know, guys. Yeah. So it's a little bit where we have to think outside the box, but okay, this is the kind of logical thinking we're hoping to get from you guys. Okay. In the future, this is the kind of thing that, okay. So we must divide the interest by the amount he pays. Correct, Mfundumiso. Okay, we won't know, Mfundo, we won't know because they haven't actually given us the exchange rate. Yes, Asante, but this is actually a rate question because you can't divide 750 by 3% is not the answer you're going to find. 750 divided by 3% gives us, oh yeah, it gives us what we want, 25,000, correct. Okay, I'm not sure. I think class rep might be writing exams. Scott is not a baller. He's a 19-year-old who already owes the bank 25,000 US dollars. He's not a baller. He has no money. He still has to pay it back. That's so true.